Why are white people so afraid of black politicians? I understand that this is a very sensitive topic of discussion. However, sensitive societal topics like this do need to be discussed and not swept under the rug because they do ultimately determine how our future plays out.
When white people are alone in South Africa, do they think genuinely that they are being targeted? Like, honest question.
I think
For
that
being white.
yes, I think many white people do. I will say that all my friends know my politics. So they're
Yeah.
on like all of my friends are pretty much my politics. So in my friendship circles, no one is saying,
Okay.
"Oh, it's so hard, it's so horrible, it's so terrible." But I know because I've run WhatsApp lines when I was on 5FM, which is a historically wide radio
Yeah,
station.
yeah, yeah,
This is
yeah,
the breakfast show host there, my TV show, The Quarter Report, and everything. That a lot of people do feel that way, but it's some kind of fear of the destabilization of their privilege because the fear is as more and more black people become middle class, more and more black people become, like get to the same level of wealth, and then white people think, okay, but what if I one day can't get a job? One day BEE does this, whatever.
And having said that, I understand, the fear of having a corrupt leader. And I'm only going to cover speaking about what I'm talking about here, guys. If you guys have other things you guys want to mention or that you feel I missed, you can mention it in the comments. But I'm just going to touch on this part, which is the fact that I don't think you should let your fear of a corrupt black leader, which isn't even like really a corrupt black leader, stop you from voting for one. And I'm going to explain now. What I'm saying is, if you expect everyone to be treated evenly or just being treated fairly in terms of race, it is going to be difficult for you to get a job because it's difficult for everyone. Like the state in which our country was in after apartheid was not good enough to accommodate the huge amount of people that, South Africa, for example, has. So it's understandable that if everything is distributed evenly, people are going to struggle to get jobs. Okay, people are going to struggle to get wealth because there is such a large amount of people that are unemployed. There is no money to go around for everyone. You understand what I'm saying? And having said that, I'm not saying that, there aren't any poor white people or that there aren't any white people that are struggling to get by, that doesn't have, or that just has overflowing generational wealth. I'm not saying that, okay? There obviously are poor white people. What I'm saying is that this dream of white people being treated better than other people is wrong, okay? And it's just not gonna happen. It's only a matter of time before another black president is being elected into power that is going to still try to distribute wealth evenly. And in doing so, your communities are not going to stay as lavish and as amazing as what you'd hope it would be. And already, I'm not saying it doesn't already come with its problems, it's still going to get worse if that is the case in which we are treated evenly because that's how most communities are. And listen to me and hear me out. Hear what I have to say. Right? Just hear what I have to say. Having said that, when you guys are in trouble, white people are a lot more united than what African people are, for example. There's always going to be a place for you to have opportunity. Just look at what happened. You guys literally claimed that white people were experiencing a mass genocide in South Africa, and that's just such a lie. Obviously, there's going to be crimes against white people, but it's not a blatant attack on being white. I've never seen a white person walk down the street and get analyzed specifically just for being white. That's not even happening here. That's not even happening here. Like, and it just shows, and you guys literally got refugee status in America just for lying about that. Hey. And I understand it's not all of you guys. I understand it's not all of you guys. But it just goes to show that I'm not lying about the fact that you guys have opportunities at your disposal. You guys literally do. And we do not. So if you guys are afraid of being treated like any other South African person who is of color, having us come into your spaces or, things like that, if you're afraid of that, you can get opportunities elsewhere in which white people are still having the privileges that you guys want. But if you want to stay in South Africa, and if you want to stay in a place where everybody is treated equally, which will probably happen over time, you can expect to have things not be as easy as what they were before. Don't let the fear of just being in an uncomfortable community stop you from electing someone that you know would be a good candidate just because you are afraid of having a more difficult job market. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Like, that's how it's supposed to be. Unfortunately, that is the reality for majority of us. Okay, there shouldn't be in the first place a class that is being treated better than anyone else. I'm not saying that a certain group of people must be treated better than others. I'm saying it's supposed, if we are all going to be treated fairly and going to be treated, you know, this, if we are all going to be treated fairly, it is understandable that it's going to be hard to find jobs. It's understandable that you are going to be competing with black people, with colored people, with all kinds of races of people, with foreigners. It's understandable that they are going to be competing with you for jobs. If we are all treated fairly, like, what else do you expect? It's not going to be easy for you to just get into a job because of your race. You know what I mean? It's not, you're not going to be guaranteed to be born into a family that is overflowing with wealth, and you're not going to be guaranteed to be overflowing with wealth yourself just because of your race in a country that is treating the people evenly, if that makes sense. But I do understand, you know, that there are going to be corrupt governments that are going to try to take advantage of people and all of those other things that I'm not covering in this. But what I have covered is just what I wanted to speak about, and just addressing the specific, you know, scary black president theory. But what people fail to mention is that the struggle for finding jobs or getting into the workforce is not going to be forever. Like, if everything was made evenly and we actually started, you know, uplifting our own businesses, working on our own people, you know, planting our own roots into our own country, you know, and working on our own people and improving ourselves, eventually we are going to get to a point in which we reap what we have sown. Eventually we are going to get to a point in which we do not have to rely on external countries, especially white countries, to continuously maintain this unfair distribution of wealth. And we can actually rely on ourselves in order to keep our economy going, and we rely on our own working people. We can actually take on foreigners. We can actually, you know, employ enough people because we can accommodate ourselves. But the longer we stay in this unfair scenario where people are separated and divided by class in wealth, there's going to continuously be war amongst people in between. People are never going to get along. That's all I want to say. And if I missed something, you can mention it without attacking me, guys. Let's not attack me. I'm just saying my perspective on things. Yeah, but if you enjoyed this and if you have things to contribute effectively, we can discuss it in the comments. But don't be attacking anyone, and don't be thinking that I'm Jubilee and I'm going to give you a platform to be racist or to be xenophobic, because I'm really not. So please leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy.